Mary was driving through the desert on her way to visit her sister when her car started to sputter. She looked down at the gas gauge and panicked. She was almost out of gas. Trying just to remain calm, she pulled over to the side of the road and tried to start the car. To no avail. Nothing. The sun was beating down on her, and the heat was just unbearable. With no cell service, no other cars passing by, Mary was stranded in the middle of nowhere. She took a deep breath, tried to stay positive, knowing that someone would come along eventually to help her. Well, hours passed and the sun began to set. Mary was getting worried. It was starting to get dark. She had no idea how far away the nearest town was. She was also starting to feel quite uneasy. Something just felt off. Didn't feel right. Suddenly she heard a noise. It sounded like footsteps. She looked around everywhere but saw no one. Panic took over as she realized she was alone and very vulnerable. She tried to start the car again, but it still wouldn't turn over. That's when she saw headlights in the distance. Oh man, a relief washed over her as she waved her arms, signaling for help. As the car pulled up next to her, a man stepped out. He looked friendly. Man, Mary couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The man offered to drive Mary to the nearest gas station, and she reluctantly got in the car. They drove for what seemed like hours, all the while Mary's anxiety growing. She was damn sure they weren't going to no nearest gas station. Just when she thought things could not get any worse, the man pulled over on a deserted stretch of road and turned to her with a sinister look in his eyes. Terrified, Mary knew she had to act fast if she wanted to survive. She took a deep breath and kicked that son of a bitch as hard as she could, scrambling out of the car and running like hell through the desert. The man chased after her, but Mary had one thing on her side: adrenaline. As she sprinted through the desert, she thought about her family, how much she wanted to see them again. She just flat refused to be a victim. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she collapsed by the side of the road, exhausted, but yet alive. Moments later, a sheriff's car pulled up, responding to a call from a concerned passerby who had seen the suspicious activity on the roadside. Well, the man was caught and Mary was safe. But she vowed to never forget the harrowing experience and to always make sure she had enough gas in the car before embarking on a long journey.